15 tips to follow to make a joint venture webinar a success. A joint venture, JV, webinar is a project where a few people work in collaboration. Normally one of them is an organizer and the other is an expert. I organize webinars and invite experts who have something valuable to share with the audience. I have done this both for my subscribers and for other people's subscribers. The way a JV webinar is structured is this. The organizer introduces the expert and then the expert delivers a 60 or 90-minute presentation where he or she shares and teaches some content which is of interest to the audience. It may be Facebook strategies, Twitter strategies, success tips for network marketers, some crucial updates on a particular topic, etc. In the end of the presentation, the expert makes an offer to the webinar attendees at a special price and they may buy it. The offer usually is available for only a certain number of people and valid for a few hours only. After that, the price goes up. To make your joint venture a success, follow the tips below, which are based on my experience and will help you avoid a lot of pitfalls. Point 1. Have an agreement in place with a list of responsibilities and tasks of who does what. Point 2. Build your team and distribute the roles in advance to ensure the smooth running of the webinar. I have 2 colleagues working with me, so we are a team of 3 people. We utilize and benefit from each other's strengths and make the best of all our assets. Point 3. Don't go ahead with a JV webinar project before you make sure an expert understands how it works and agrees to terms of service, including the promotion costs, if they are involved, and profit sharing. Point 4. Start promoting a webinar at least 2 weeks before the webinar date. Point 5. Don't stop a webinar promotion till a very few hours left before the webinar actually starts. Have a detailed plan for each day of your promotion campaign. Point 6. Always have a webinar rehearsal/practice with one of the panelists. If a panelist is not available, do it with your team member. Point 7. Don't begin a webinar unless you make sure that people can hear you well. Ask the attendees to type yes in the chat box or raise a hand and take time to see when a few responses come. Point 8. On the date of a webinar, ask an expert who is a webinar presenter to log in at least 15 minutes before the webinar start time so that you can check that everything is in order and to begin the webinar in time. Point 9. Be mindful of other people's time. Respect your audience. If you invited them to a 90-minute webinar, do your best to keep the promise. Point 10. Track and trace. Some key indicators for you to measure include a number of registrations every day. You will notice that they differ on weekdays and at the weekend. Saturday and Sunday are the least active days for registrations. Point 11. Don't schedule a webinar for Mondays, Fridays, and weekends. You will also notice that national and bank holidays are not good for such activity. Point 12. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are the best days of the week to schedule webinars. Point 13. It's a very good idea to ask a question when you are sending out invitations for people to register for a webinar. It gives you loads of information about different aspects of the topic your attendees want to learn and also what they know or don't know. Point 14. It is extremely important to get the price for the offer right. If it is too high for people who are listening to the expert for the first time, you may end up with very few sales. Point 15. Make sure that you match the right expert and product with the right audience. If you fail to do that, the people on the webinar will get confused and will not buy. I have a lot more to share with you in the coming articles.